The problem at the southern border is just getting worse. The White House recently announced that our resources are being stretched thin. A record number of people are showing up at the border. How many exactly? Some estimates put the number up to 10,000 people per day, which ends up being hundreds of thousands every month. Now, some of these people, they're asylum seekers, right? They're being persecuted for their race or their religion or their political beliefs. Other people, they're just trying to escape a violent situation or looking for a better way of life. Unfortunately, many of these people are misled by criminal organizations. There's a lot of misinformation that goes on about the asylum process. Even if you get into the country and you try to go to the court and claim that you need asylum, there's 3 million cases in our backlog. It would take you multiple years of waiting for a court to actually consider your case. Some people say that people come for the benefits. Do these people get benefits? And the answer is they get some, but they're not entitled to all the federal benefits. If it falls under the category of protect life or guarantee safety, then they get it. This is like emergency Medicare, trips to the emergency room, access to health care and nutrition programs. If you have a child in this country, they are accepted into public education. You can't deny a kid from going to public education if they're in this country. Then there are 26 states that have state-funded benefit programs that are on top of the federal benefits. A huge concern for a lot of people when it comes to illegal immigration is drug trafficking, fentanyl, human trafficking. I mean, if you just look in 2023, Border Patrol seized 27,000 pounds of fentanyl. And if you look at the numbers, they have been increasing every year. There's also been a lot of human trafficking taking place throughout the border. These 10,000 people that are showing up every day, they're doing it at port of entries. We have 300 port of entries throughout the southern border. But of course, not everyone's going to those, right? There's people that are coming across that are not being reported. This is climbing a fence, just walking through the border, maybe going through a tunnel. It's gotten so bad that the CBP, which is the Custom Border Protection Agency, they had to reassign some of their employees from the field offices. They have about 20 field offices. They had to reassign them to come help process immigrants at the border. Many of these immigrants are being brought to the border by smugglers. These smugglers, their intent is to overwhelm the Border Patrol agents. They're pushing large groups through. And right now, Border Patrol is saying we can only handle about half of the volume that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. They've even reached out to the Department of Justice to help with some of their transportation needs. This isn't the first time that DHS has been struggling on the border. If you look back at 2021, they were asking for volunteers to help when it came to children at the border. There were so many children there without parents, without proper identification. Then you hear stories of people getting lost, people simply disappearing, not just on their way to the border, but at the border itself. So what's the response for DHS's call for help? Well, right now there's $13 billion marked for additional staffing in DHS to help ease the pain that they're currently feeling. This money has been requested months ago, but it hasn't been approved yet. Congress hasn't given it the green light. And part of the reason why is because it's attached to $80 billion worth of foreign aid. So I don't know how this got mixed up, where you're taking the southern border, which is a domestic issue, and you're combining it with foreign aid money, which is more of a international type issue. You're putting them in the same bill. I don't know how that works out, but that's where we're at right now. Republicans in Congress, certain Republicans, they're having issues with that foreign aid part of the money, but they are willing to approve it if in return they're able to adjust the immigration policy that's currently in the books. They want to make it a little bit more restrictive. Then we have certain travel companies that are advertising. They get people onto the bus, onto the shuttles, and they take them out to these random locations extremely close to the border. Well, CBP has been investigating this with Mexican authorities. If you look at the illegal crossing chart, we see that the numbers have exploded since 2021. I personally think this is going to result in a lot of hiring throughout the DHS and the Department of Justice, probably in 2024 and also 2025. There seems to be a real demand to get people into these positions to provide relief to the mission at hand. Right now, if we jump on usajobs.gov between both departments, we can see that there's over 1,000 jobs open. And of these 1,000 jobs, there's 100 of them in administrative jobs. These are jobs like processing paperwork, managing databases, getting involved with correspondence. Not every job involves a person being on the border or being a Border Patrol agent. There is a support staff, a support function needed in order for CBP to do its actual job. But if you are interested in being a Border Patrol agent, usually that comes with a bonus attached. There's like a sign-on bonus. So right now, I believe if you go on usajobs.gov, the sign-on bonus is something around $20,000. With Border Patrol agents, there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons. You have to consider it. I would encourage you to go to some of the virtual hiring events that CBP holds. Talk to a recruiter and ask some questions. I know there's a physical requirement. There is a certain exercise component of it. You have to be in decent shape. Bilingual. You have to know some words in Spanish. So some people use this type of opportunity as like a stepping stone to get into a federal career, to perhaps pivot and get another government job. But even if you want to stay Border Patrol, there is a set path where you can progress if you stick with it. Now, some version of this $100 billion bill is either going to pass in the early part of 2024 or sometime during 2024 because it's needed. It's needed, and there's a lot of public pressure trying to get this thing through. Also, we have to keep our eyes on the presidential election. That's coming up. That's right around the corner. And that's going to kind of set the tone for how the federal government is going to proceed when it comes to agencies. Who's going to be doing hiring? What's going to be the priority? So keep your eye on that as well. If you are considering working for the federal government, the number one priority for you right now, it has to be your federal resume. Without your federal resume, you're not even going to be able to get in the front door. So you have to focus on that. And if you're interested on how to get your federal resume into a strong condition, then I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.